internal Labor polling must be hurting them because their campaign chief, a guy called Paul Erickson, affronted Labor MPs this week in Canberra and has told them pull their heads in, focus on what people are worried about. People are worried about cost of living first and foremost, and give up all this sort of culture stuff they're going on around. And I have to say, Paul Erickson, he's right.
Well, he is. One of the interesting things he said, or what the AFR article referenced him as saying, is at least, if nothing else, look as though that's what you're focused on. I think the government's got to do a bit more than just look as though they're sort of got their ear to the ground on that. They've got to be completely committed to it. And every day there is this preoccupation with the voice. Considering the preoccupation, so few people seem to have really any idea what it's about. So it's not resonating, it's not connecting. But what is connecting is when people go to the shops or they go to the petrol station or they go, heaven forbid, to book a flight domestically or internationally or whatever, and they have to empty the wallet and then go and borrow some more from someone else to pay for things. I mean, that's the reality for a lot of people, even pretty well-paid people. I mean, they are, with the 9 interest rates on the trot and more coming, with the Reserve being pretty clear about that, people are now really starting to notice the difference, and that mortgage cliff, well, that's going to hit about 800,000 households within the next 6 months or thereabouts, will really then feel the hip pocket nerve, and the government have to be positioned to respond. I'm not sure the focus is there yet.
No, and of course the PM's expending a lot of political capital on the voice, and it'll matter to a tiny segment of the electorate. It'll be a goodwill measure for a lot of others. And then there's obviously a growing bank of Australians who say we don't want race in our constitution. Yeah. Let's go back to Alice Springs. Interestingly there, NT government turned up today. All the ministers rolled into town. But there's a lot of anger still in that community. They say the politicians disregarded their warnings. They put their lives at risk. They put their businesses at risk. And they're not happy, in particular, about the Chief Minister. Have a listen.
She needs to apologise to the people of Alice Springs that have been victims of crime, victims of assault, for now over 4.5 years. Okay? Then she has to apologise to the women that have been brutal victims of domestic violence.
I have to say, Michael, I reckon if she had any integrity, Natasha Fyles would resign.
Yes, I think she seems to have lost control of the situation and has, I would assume, been told by the boffins in Canberra of the same political persuasion, this is what you're going to do, we'll throw a bit of coin your way to sort of smother it over, but you just implement it. And it seemed to go against all of what was in her political DNA. She seemed very much one of the cheerleaders to get rid of the alcohol restrictions which were in place, and worked reasonably effectively. There's more to the story, but that was the linchpin of the success. And people, as you said, on the ground, the people that apparently the voice is going to, help, well, let's see. But they've been saying for years, don't take this away. When the grog comes back, the violence comes back. Now, I mean, if this, Peter, was happening in Annandale and not Alice Springs, then it would have happened for probably a week and it'd all be over, because every media entity would be there, the focus would be there, and rightly so. But for a lot of us, Alice Springs is a long way from the studios. And so for many people, it's been for too long out of sight, out of mind. And almost unforgivably for too many people in power, that has been the case. And now we've all seen the result, and it's a tragedy. And really, the people at the top who were responsible or certainly could have changed the events, they've got to go.